have to make this video to get something out to do with the material focus and the divine dimensional focus. So, and what I'm realizing also is it is very, at the moment, generational related in like the decade age I guess age gaps, you could call it, whatever. So I'm 49, I'm 50 in February, right? So, and we're now approaching the evolution of the 50, that we're actually going to recognize it more and more, like our light beings, the purpose and meaning of it, etc. And so I'm also aware of many in like their 30s. Okay, so it's relating to me the 3D that's been carried through in their time, but now we're meeting with the 5D. Okay, so what I want to bring to our attention is, you know, like when we've grown up and it's like, if you want to know about heaven, the divine, so much so that we call mainly on us sort of idolizing Jesus or anyone else, right? We would go to like join a religion, or we would think to ourselves, the only really way to get to heaven, like to understand and bring heaven into our lives, is to go to church, and then through the week hope for the best, kind of thing. So but what I want to bring to our attention is, yeah, we have to go through the week, but when we're in prayer or any kind of sacred communion, so our own spiritual practice just at home in the silence, the same as what you would engage at a church when someone else is reading to you, or you're in community to some extent, right? When you engage in that silence, heaven is right there. So we really need to bring in that fifth dimensional reality, that Jesus is not someone that lived in the past and we should give our power to this idolization. All right, it's good if you can look at that flexibly and go, well, he represented light. So when I struggle, I look for the light in me or in others. Okay? I deal with the situation, but it's because I'm dealing with it and remembering light. I'm a light being. But it's like when someone is praying for us and we bow our heads, like we're joining in that communion. You are engaging as your sovereign being with heaven that knows you. That's not, I really hope for the best. Okay? Heaven's listening to you. So it's not like, oh, thank you, priest. This is great, community and everything. This is really make a connection in the silence. Like in your gut, your actual like grounding belief that your energy field is one with divine communication. Okay, because we've been very 3D mental about it. So the reason why I brought up that age is because it is very real that those in their 30s have experienced like they are going to experience more and more, as we are as well, but the goodbye of the 3D. And the generations coming after are in the new earth energy. because it was about 30 for me, and just before 30, so that's like a 20-year period where it was like, I'm listening to something else now because I'm not satisfied with what the energy of this world. I'm listening to something else. It's part of who I am. I can't explain it. And everyone just wants you to go on with the usual stuff. But I know I am and we are more than that, and it's going to open up. So that's been 20 years or so. So I can just feel that now I'm approaching 50, that those in their 30s now are saying goodbye to that reality that started approaching around the year 2000, you know, just over the cusp of the 2000 mark, this millennium. So the main point is, they've been in the middle of the new world approaching and the old world leaving. And so the new world approaching is the one that's coming in, obviously. So we can't just go to church on Sunday anymore and think that heaven is out there somewhere, and, you know, it's not actually helping us in the moment with light speed. Because that's what the 5D is about. It's getting closer to the light speed, like our light and what we do, and the light speed of heaven. So it's our recognition that although we may feel in between two worlds, especially in that 30 to 40 age group right now, and all the others, but really this chunk of generation, it's like the technological and the spiritual, but it's not fully embracing either. So it's like the material rules and we got a little bit of spirit. Whereas what we really are is light spirit, and we can create a hell of a lot more. So we need to go deeper into that spiritual aspect and understanding that it's light speed, and get our phones away from the fake light, our faces away from the fake light. Yes, it's good, get on, do what you got to do, but, you know, just be aware of that. Because it is a indulging and somewhat putting spirit and health aside and being somewhat hypnotized. Like we can't live without this appendage. And so to hell with the rest of life, as long as we communicate through this. So it's more, spirit is more who you are, and you can get helped the more spiritual practice you allow for yourself. So if you want your life to get better, you engage in more spiritual practice than technological engagement. And I truly mean that, because the more we type, we're not actually fully embodying an experience. We're just putting something out there, and this is why this age group is kind of like, oh, I've got it all sorted. And there's things that they're not feeling, they're not embodying, and they nearly don't think they're real, and they don't think they have to experience it. And so it becomes very image focused. And these are potential of leaders inside. So what I'm here to assist with in my path, at the age I was meant to be now for this, is that we can get helped for our rise, and we have to put our technology aside. Now, I don't mean altogether, obviously, because I wouldn't have connection with the world, videoing this and uploading it. But yeah, obviously there needs to be a tidy up and a filtering out of what's accurately necessary for you to engage with, and you gotta filter out the rest. Because you need to still get active in embodiment of your spirit. It is not part-time fancy pants. It is, you need that engagement with your spirit. You need to call on heaven, because we have slowed down for the material. We've decided that the material focus is more important. The image of life, not the work put in the real spiritual path. So I will say my generation, just because I'm in it, but it's not limited. It's all this area. And I've obviously learnt of people who are up in their 90s, even probably someone over 100. Okay, but that's the whole point. It's like there is no limits. So, it's a light, flexible, growing focus. It's not a limited technology is king. Because it never will be, because we make it, so it's up to us how much we focus on it, and just don't let it, take over your focus, because you are not a robot and never will be. So don't start to give all your power to it, focus on it, and only concentrate on it. Because there was an example even yesterday. What was it? Oh yeah, where AI has got quite good answering the start of phone calls and things, but it will never actually keep up on its own. We are its upkeep. We are the evolvers that evolve it. So we need to keep up with our evolution and not sort of stay, so focused on its true limitations, when we are so much more amazing. Because we do sometimes put all our eggs in one basket to do with moving forward. And even my guides now are prompting, we don't do it sometimes, we've done it a hell of a lot more. And that's a big problem for how we treat each other. That human jobs, lives, aren't as important. And the ridiculousness of greed. So yeah, my main point, which I'm always going to come back to in whatever I talk about, is that there is this inner being frequency of you that has been shut down in this world, right, to some extent. A lot of us know it hasn't been. But it's just that inner quiet calling you have to revisit and include heaven. So it's your soul, and through your higher self of calling heaven through your higher self, you can listen and be helped. So instead of taking just a material focus and pushing on with the usual week and hope for the best and things never work out, or my life is this or that, like sucks or whatever. We need to be reminding each other of the light being, and that we can call on heaven, and we each need to engage in a spiritual practice. And also going forward, to sing the songs of ourselves and not always of like, my religion is out there. I do this because someone else did. It's, yeah, you can have that. It's an aspect, but it just takes away from the soul itself. But it is beautiful to come home and have a connection with a spiritual, I'll say entity, because they're not actually, that person. Like, most people see Jesus as, dressed a certain way and everything, and whatever else pictured that he went through. But we're not embodied when we go back to spirit. So it's nice to have a connection with that spiritual entity and visualize however you want. Just as long as we're getting up and getting active with, like, we actually prayed for something to embody it. We prayed for guidance to embody it. Not we prayed for guidance, we met with Jesus in our minds, felt it a little bit in our bodies, which is our souls. Our bodies are our soul as well. But then we get back up and we're like, oh yeah, I'll wait for that prayer to be answered, and go along with all the usual. No, it's actually an opening of your mind. It's a letting go of your mind. It's truly believing you're one with heaven, and you will receive like different feelings and feelings of guiding, and magnetically drawn to hearing things that answered questions that only perhaps you and Jesus dialogued about. But then a person on earth, an angel or someone in the energetic vicinity, magnetized to, assist in the energetic field we live in, you will hear something that answers something you need. Or your life might take a whole new direction, and it's actually what you need. It's all energy. So just don't make life just a mental thing, okay? Of course, we need to have, like, if you want 9 o'clock church on Sunday and you love your community and all this, but just remember, go deep in what you want to experience, and be brave to step out of community if you have to, and do something that, others may not be impressed about, but you've communed deep with your divine self. And it's important to follow through on that, because if Jesus is anything, Jesus is that. That you actually get up and embody your light. You asked for guidance, and you want to make shifts, and you want a different world, and you want to participate in various things, and you want the help. You want the deep help to be this better growing person, like someone that has a bit more confidence, or someone that can be, have a bit more courage in themselves, like to dream and expand. Because mental energy on this planet will come in and swoop you down. Like, before you even know it, mental energy can do that. So you actually have to ingrain a spiritual practice that says, no, I have another home I actually have a solar plexus, a soul, another home, and that's being guided by something beyond my usual relationships. That is being guided beyond my usual routine or workplace. So you have to be willing to break out of mental barriers and be helped. Because you're a soul, not a role. A soul is like a sunshine full of many rays of light. And you have soul guidance teams, you have heaven at your beck and call. But you do have to sincerely bow your head out of the mental framework and say, I want to be helped. And I surrender to divine will. Like, it has my best intent. I'm not surrendering to being bossed about in human will. I'm surrendering for higher guidance. I allow my heart to rise and listen. Doing that becomes an energetic grounding force because you're standing up for that request. You are inviting heaven to earth through you. Heaven helps. God bless. It really does. So turn to it and create a spiritual bowing of the head kind of practice that, you're not a servant of someone, you're a servant of the God source running through you to live the best soul, that is you, possible. God bless. And just like I'm doing now as we finish this video, you sit in the divine crispness of everything happening on its own, in that divine energy, that source light, God force. The birds are chirping, there's been dew on the grass, some rain recently, but mist, some coolness in the beautiful Queensland early morning in July. Things are happening, and so we need to take time spiritually to embrace that is also the feeling, the natural feeling of us. Okay, because that's how you let heaven in, and that's a natural state, higher vibe. So there's never really any reason for us in this kind of education to stay in problems for too long. And we need to be teaching the kids this too, And it's great there is things like books on the varying emotions that humans feel, so that they know that we don't operate in any particular one as a way of maneuvering through life. We learn how to flow and grow. Because staying in problems of an emotional repeat is telling yourself that you have to stay in a problem to fix it. But when you stay in a problem and the emotion of a problem and the same mind game of a problem, it just becomes bigger because your energy, what you focus on, grows. So you invite heaven in by engaging in nature a little more often, And do that however you want, in beautiful sounds in your home to get you into a relaxed state, some aromatherapy or a candle perhaps, some quiet, some dimmed light, some nature. Okay, and invite in heaven. So there is a time period you need to make where you just release the world and become one with heavenly source on earth, because you are it and you have faith in it. And if you have discrepancies, then just take a look outside your window or get a plant and look at it. How is it growing? Okay, remind yourself there is a God source energy running through all of us. And heaven helps. And remind yourself, when I go for a walk, I do feel better and I do get some ideas and inspiration naturally drop in. Or when I'm painting, or when I'm with that friend, but not that friend. You know, so you have every right to maintain this healthful consistency to guide your life well. And you can only offer this a little bit to others. They have to do it for themselves. So we're not here to carry anyone's problems is what I mean. So if like a friend is having a problem or something, then you can be with them and go through it. And then when you leave each other, in your heavenly engagement, your spiritual practice, you can ask, please send light sincerely to that person to help their problem. That's pretty much all we have to do. We don't have to go and carry anyone's burden, go low with their vibration in a lengthy time period, because then you're just nurturing that problems are a way of life and we don't really have any help. We're just here to kind of suffer together. And we're not. We're just not. Okay? Like the 7 levels, the 7 colors of this rainbow is us. We're not here to suffer. We're not here to darken down and not have help. We have light help. So connect with that nature source within yourself and bow your head if you want to engage at depth for assistance. And we need to reinforce that with each other, that we're not alone. Because it's every day you'll come across someone that says, oh, this is like this, and you know, blah, 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 and they can't pick themselves out of it. It's very real for us. But it's like, it's not that there is no solution. So you offer your light, but don't go down with them. You just offer your light. That might mean maybe you have a cry about something they've been through with them, but it's like you don't follow that down to lift with your energy. Okay? They got to stand on their own a little bit and ask God. So you can pray for them, meet up with them next time. Perhaps that prayer did assist because heaven is listening. They know who you're connected to. All right? And that light is sent. It's intention. Light moves through intention. Our choices, our thoughts, actions. And then you and that person will have a different dynamic in the energy field. And just remember, that's your only role. You can be there as a friend, but you're not carrying the weight of the world with them. Otherwise, they'll just think carrying the weight of the world is the way to go. So let's shuffle for an animal card. Take a breath and slow down because I can get right into the aspects of us not weighing ourselves down. We are rainbow light. Call on heaven more often. porcupine again. Although it says time for beginner mind, it does look like he's moving with some emphasis, like a little warrior porcupine. Time for a beginner mind. Yeah, kind of like what I'm talking about, isn't it? I'll read the author, though. I don't want to read into the perspective myself. When Porcupine Spirit calls your name, you are being asked to adopt a beginner's mind and to approach situations with innocence and curiosity. The old confining stories no longer have hold on you. Life is full of surprises hiding in plain sight. Looking at the world afresh with new eyes can help you find what you have been seeking. Whether it is a relationship, an opportunity, or evidence that you have all you need right now to co-create what you desire. Who knew? Porcupine asks you to be playful and have a childlike curiosity. There is so much waiting for you that you have yet to discover. Porcupine Spirit protection message is, are you feeling prickly and defensive lately and assuming you will be hurt before you have seen any sign that such a reaction is called for? Perhaps an old sense of guilt and shame is causing you to be cynical and wary when you are meant to be open and curious. Self-protection is a good thing, but you may be protecting yourself from something that will not actually harm you, but instead will bring you abundance, happiness, and love. Remember your innocence, and you will see what you have been overlooking. Porcupine quills are filled with air, allowing a porcupine to float in water. Now is a time to let your innocent nature keep you buoyant. That last line really resonates to our chat. That we are lighter and less heavier, and with the innocence of nature and our innocent nature, because higher vibe of spirit is of purity and innocence. It is of play and joy, like this card spirit signifies. But we come here with all different mental heaviness associated, and yet don't hold on to it and float on the water. Isn't that relaxing? Like when you float on the water. Let's all do that sometime soon. And let that innocent nature keep you buoyant. Don't be pulled down with the weights of the world. All right. God bless everyone. Let's finish on the 33rd minute. At 30 seconds it was. Bye for now.